Okay, so update. We went to go see Dad today, and because he was blowing up my sister's phone from like 6 a.m. saying she needs to come take him to the bathroom. And she's like, call the nurse. And he was like, I don't know anybody here. Like, oh my God. So we get there. We get him Chinese food because he was like, I want Chinese food. And then he was like, why are you guys bringing me Chinese food? Because you asked us for Chinese food. Okay. And then, which, he was like, oh, pleasant surprise. I'm like, oh, great. And then I was like, why did you call my sister like 6 times? And he's like, no, I didn't. I didn't make any phone calls today. So I take his phone and I show him. He actually called 9 times. And then, yeah, so he was like, I don't know how those got there. I'm like, and then he told the doctor that my sister and I were gaslighting him. And we're like, Mr. King of gaslighting. No, if anyone's a gaslighter, it would be our father, who we love, but God bless him. So that happened. And then we were like, okay, we're going to go get something to eat, and then we're going to leave. We're going to leave and go get something to eat and go home. And he's like, okay. We're not even 10 minutes out of the place when he starts blowing up our phone. When are you guys coming to get me? We're like, Dad, we're not coming to get you. And he was like, oh, okay. And then everything was fine. Everything was calm. And then 2 hours later, my sister calls me, and my head was like pounding by this time because I was so stressed out. My sister calls me and is like, hey, Dad keeps asking me where are the car keys and he's going to drive. And we're like, oh my God. I'm like, no. And so then I called Dad, and Dad's like, oh, it broke my heart because he sounded so like, he's like a little kid. He's like, are you coming to get me? I'm like, no, Dad, I'm coming to visit you, but I have to leave, I've got to go back to Texas. And he was like, well, where are the keys to my car? Because I got to drive. And I said, Dad, you're not driving anymore. You're giving me your car because you cannot drive anymore. And he's like, oh, yeah. Don't I need to sign paperwork? Like, he had clarity. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I said, Dad, let us get ready and we'll come back up there. And he was like, yeah, these people don't want me here. They told me I need to leave. I go, what people told you they don't want you there? He's like, the nurses. I'm like, the nurses didn't tell you they don't want you there. He's like, nope, they said I gotta go. I'm like, okay. So we get up there again, and I was like, hey, guys, just quick question. I know this is crazy. You want my dad to stay here, right? Because he says that the nurses are telling, and the looks of horror on their faces of like, no, we don't want him to leave. We need him to stay. He's got to stay. I'm like, okay, I'm just checking. And they were like, oh, you poor thing. So we're like, okay, cool. So we show up, talk to Dad again. He's like, I even introduced him to his roommate who he's been with, because I was like, Dad, that's your roommate. He doesn't work here. He's not an op. Like, yeah. He's like, he's so paranoid, and he's like, thinks everybody's listening to him, and that he's just like, he's getting confused from like his childhood in New York to, like, you don't trust anybody, it could be this or that. I'm like, okay, like, we're not surrounded by mafia people. Come on, chill out. And then, he's like remembering his work, in Arkansas, when he used to work for the Department of Aging, and he would have to go to nursing homes. And this is like his worst case scenario, worst nightmare, is being in a place that he used to have to go and inspect and do things and talk to them about, proper care. And he's like, this is horrible for him. And then he signed the paperwork and stuff, and halfway through he lost like clarity, and he did struggle signing his name. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it. And if they say anything, I'll be like, look, my dad forgot how to write his name halfway through signing it. But he tried. He was like, that's what a G looks like. I'm like, yeah, sure. I can't say anything. I sometimes write my Jesus Q's. But anyway, and then what else did he do? Yeah, he's just like, are you leaving now? We're like, no, Dad, we gotta go get some stuff for you tomorrow, and then I'll leave hopefully Sunday. And then, yeah, I managed to get insurance on the car. I'm so poor. I can pay for 2 fill-ups, I think, for gas. So fingers crossed I make it back to San Antonio. I'm sure I will. I just, it's a Hyundai Elantra. And then, I don't know, I just felt fucking crazy because my dad's just crazy. And he even told the doctor that he wanted to blow his brains out. I'm like, great, cool. All right, Dad. That's probably not a good thing to tell your doctor, but his doctor's like, well, good thing we don't allow guns in the hospital. I was like, well, I mean, if he was in Texas, but anyway. So, yeah, I think that's everything. I don't know. I feel insane. I just want to cry, but I'm trying not to cry because it's like, it's useless fucking tears. Anyway, so, all right, I love you guys. I'd rather be playing video games right now than dealing with this shit. It just sucks.